Mm-mm. Saya buka ya untuk Zoom link, Zoom roomnya Mbak Dika dan Bu Umi.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mungkin mau ditunggu sampai 12.30.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's just wait until 12:30.
Oke.
Shall we start? Yeah. All right. Well, welcome everyone to this Indonesia study group. My name is Narina Madikawati, and I'm pleased to chair today's session. I'm joining from Canberra, and I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Nganul and Ngambri people, and pay my respects to elders past and present. Since 2017, Indonesia has been paying its largest social assistance program, Program Keluarga Harapan, PKH, straight into bank accounts and onto debit cards rather than handing over cash. On paper, this puts millions of low-income households inside the formal financial system overnight. And in practice, holding a card and using one are two very different things. And it is that gap that our speakers has gone out and measured. Today's presentation is Accelerating Financial Inclusion through Electronic Social Assistance Payments in Indonesia, evidence from East Java Province. Drawing on a field survey of almost 400 PKH recipients across East Java, one of the questions this research asks, what actually makes a recipient use the card? So the answers are less obvious than you might expect, but those are the speakers to give, not mine. So our speaker today is Dr. Umi Julaiha. She is a lecturer at the Department of Social Science Education at Universitas Islam Negeri Maulana Malik Ibrahim Malang. Her research spans banking and the financial sector, economic development, monetary and public policy. So we will take questions after the presentation. So you can type your questions into the Zoom Q&A box and we will read it out. So Umi, over to you. Please start us off.
Thank you, Mbak Tika, for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning for everyone who joined this session from Indonesia. Okay. First of all, I would like to thanks to Mbak Tika who offering us an opportunity to share our work in this forum, and also the ISG team who host this meeting. And thank you also for the all participants who joined with this session. I'm a little bit nervous this. Okay, let me start by sharing my screen first. Okay.
Yeah, we can see your screen if you can.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. In this occasion, on behalf of other authors, uh, Riana Miranti and also Teswe Medin, I would like to present our published work in ODS. And in this occasion, we would analyze about the behavioral intention to use debit card among the package recipient in East Java. Okay, however, I would like to extend this discussion to the general perspective also to gain more wider, insight. So if the package assistant, package recipient is mandate user, so we would like to extend uh, by the voluntary user such as the general population in Indonesia. We organize this presentation into 5 parts. First, we would like to talk about the financial inclusion landscape in Indonesia, and then evidence from big recipient, and we would like to extend the discussion based on the population perspective, based on general population perspective, and we synthesize based on those two group, and we would like to offer policy recommendations such as direction for future research. Okay, let look at the first part. This is about the financial inclusion landscape in Indonesia. Actually, this part is become a background or motivation for us to study about this issue. Why financial inclusion matter? Especially for Indonesia, it is very crucial because for developing countries, providing access, especially for the poor household, will make them able to enable them to access credit at affordable cost, and then they can use the credit to into productive activities, and ultimately it will improve their welfare. So this is also confirmed by many studies that financial inclusion has a positive relationship with the economic growth and also poverty reduction. However, the gap still exists, especially between developed and developing countries. Furthermore, about 10 years before, we see that many developing countries try to boost the financial inclusion with many programs. But what happened? We see that, for example, for in India, we see that most they can achieve about 90% of financial included for the people. However, about 30 until 40% of them didn't use the account effect. Didn't use the account. It means that we cannot say that higher achievement on financial inclusion, it will directly lead to the poverty reduction or economic growth, as long as the user who financially included really use the service actively. And the study actually also in line with Indonesian program. The Indonesia government implemented a national strategy for financial inclusion. We call them as SNKI. Now we'll look detail on the regulatory framework in Indonesia. Starting in 2012, the government, Indonesian government introduced national strategy for financial inclusion, which providing an inclusive financial program for all community. And subsequently, Bank Indonesia, OJK, and also the government also developed collaborative program and regulation to boost those financial inclusion. Maybe we can look detail in 2017. There is major policy shift occur that non-cash payment was mandated in several transactions. For example, for it all road payment and also non-cash social assistance payment. And now we look detail on the electronic payment landscape in Indonesia because if you look currently, maybe debit card not become the what this is the most payment used by Indonesia, but we will see the difference before 2017. So until 2019, debit card represented as the major non-cash payment in Indonesia. However, this indicated that the use of the debit card is still ineffective. We can see from the chart, we see that in the blue area, this is about 41% of the debit card transaction is for cash withdrawal. It means that people use debit card just for withdraw the money and then they will pay the bill payment, maybe the cash, the what is this, the transaction with cash. So this is the problem for Indonesia. And if we look at the 2018, starting 2018, we see that e-money grew rapidly. And we focus this in the figure 3. Start from 2018, e-money grew rapidly compared to debit card. However, currently there is a different pattern from digital payment transaction in Indonesia. That Kris QRIS become the most convenient and interoperable payment method that using by Indonesia. And this Kris actually launched by Central Bank of Indonesia in 2019. So although there are different, what is it, pattern and landscape for digital payment in Indonesia, the question arises whether studying the debit card user behavior still relevant today. And maybe we have several reasons to still say that this study is still relevant. First, because the debit card has multifunctional feature for Indonesia case. So if you look at the figure 5, we see that ATM as an infrastructure of debit card in Indonesia offer a greater variety of transaction services than just fund transfer and also cash withdrawal, such as in Australia. And if we see from the figure, we see that I think there was more than 10 menu or 10 services that offered by ATM. And as I said before, the debit card is relevant for today because the biggest recipient rely on debit card for accessing the social assistance benefit. So this study aim to explore the factor that affect user acceptance of debit card from the perspective of biggest recipient. And we would like to extend the discussion to a broader user perspective. Now we'll move to the part 2, looking at the evidence from the package recipient. Before we look at the statistical finding, we look at the package program first. So PKH was the first conditional cash transfer program in Indonesia, which is launched in 2007. And at this initial stage, the program can cover about 800, around 800,000 per household. However, nowadays, the program included up to 10 million per household. Several conditions for access this program are family must have a pregnant member or a newborn or toddler, or they have a child aged 9 to 18 who missing compulsory education. And for accessing the benefit of the PKH, the recipient have to fulfill several conditions, such as school attendance, health center visit, vaccination, and also demanded to join the monthly meeting. And the benefit of the package actually is dispersed directly to the mother to optimize and ensure that the spending on the family nutrition, health, and also education. And since 2017, the government has digitalized the social assistance payment. Okay, this is actually the framework we use to answer the research question that we say before. So we adapt from the UTAUT framework model. This model actually derived from the information technology system. So if we would like to adopt to financial technology, we have to make a several what is it? Yes, like modify to fit the financial technology. Okay, the youth out actually has four construct. This is performance expectancy, or we can say this is about the benefit of technology. And then effort expectancy, this is said about the how easy to use the technology, and then social influence and facilitating condition. We add perceived trust and financial literacy to the model. This is to address the user risk and driver decision in financial services. And we also incorporate attitude as mediator in the belief construct to the intention relationship. Why this is to capture the effective response of the user of mandatory technology. Why? Because if we ask the respondent about whether they intend to use it, they have no option. So to capture the positive or negative feeling about the technology, we put the attitude in this model. Lastly, we also introduce the antecedent for trust. We put perceived security and also culture or religious belief uh, to tailor the Indonesian context. Why? As information, Indonesia is in the top 3 location for ATM skimming in the world. So we see that security become the major concern for Indonesia to access financial services. And related to religious belief, the majority of Indonesia is Muslim, and we know that several, what is it, rule, there is several rule for the believer, the Muslim, when they would like to access the banking product. So now we move to the research design. Actually focus, because several limitation, we only focus on East Java. However, this is also urgent to choose the East Java because East Java is the province with the largest proportion of package benefit, and we collected data through face-to-face file survey using multi-state random sampling technique. We collected data in 2018 until 2019. The detailed process for the sampling we can see from the figure. So East Java province has 664 sub-districts, and then we categorize them into 3 strata. This is a region with low number of poor household, medium, and also high number of poor household. And then we selected the sub-district by using systematic random sampling. And finally, we proportionately determine the number of the respondent. And the population of package recipient in East Java at that time is about 1 million. So we already have got the samples about 396, which is this is already fulfill the minimum sample requirement if we look at the Kaji Morgan criteria report. Okay, now we look at the profile of the respondent. So maybe we can see this is an interesting information from this respondent that 78% of the respondent only hold primary education or less. And then 85% of them is housewife, and most of them is the first time bank user. And now we look at the graphic, we see that this is related to the what is it? This is the transaction using debit card, yeah. First, related to the cash withdrawal, more than 90% of them say that they withdraw their money through debit card once in 3 months. Till this is in line with the time disbursement of the PKH benefit that quarterly. Okay. And if you look at the figure B, we see that most of them, but yes, we can say the majority of them never use the debit card for saving and then bill payment as well as purchasing. Mean that yes, the access to non-cash payment is already have, but they didn't utilize because they still use cash for transaction. And now we move to the main funding. Actually, this is the model of our study using PLSM, and we go to the main finding. From the table 2, we see that the model can explain about 63% of the variation in attitude toward using debit card, and also 58% of the variation in intention to use debit card. Looking detail of the determinant of attitude, we see that the most significant variable is performance expectancy, or we can say this is usefulness, followed by effort expectancy and trust. It means that the higher the new user perceive the usefulness of the technology, the higher level of the technology acceptance will begin. And interestingly, we found the insignificant variable for the attitude predictor, that is social influence. It may be due to we collected data just a year after the launch of the non-cash program launch. So the social pressure to use debit card is limited at that time. And lastly, we look at the trust predictor. It is indicated that the two antecedents that we propose were significant, with the perceived security being the driving factor for this case. Now, we would like to extend the discussion to the general population, whether the performance from the PKS data also have similar pattern with the general population or the voluntary one. Okay, for the general population research design, actually we use similar research model and analysis. However, for the population, this is not in East Java, but general population in Indonesia. We collecting data using an online survey with respondent-driven sampling. To reduce the sampling bias, we select the initial respondent, or we call this the seed, with diverse characteristic based on the gender, age, occupation, and also the region. However, it has to be noted that the purpose of this analysis is not for direct comparison. Rather than it aims to isolate the contrasting behavior pattern to get the future research, and also provide the funding applicability across diverse user profile, not only the PKH recipient. Okay, from table 3, we see the comparison between the population and sample size. As information, the population of debit card user in Indonesia at that time is about 52 million, and we got sample, it's about 541 sample. And if you look at the, the information in table 3, we see that this is a small difference between the proportion of population and also sample. So we can say that the sample we use represent the pattern of the population debit card in Indonesia. Okay, we look at the general population funding. Yes, if previously we see that the level of education of PKH recipient, that most of them only attain the primary education or less, and in this case, we see that 46% of the respondent have a diploma for or bachelor degree. It means that for the population, they have a higher low education compared to the package recipient. And 54% of them employ and related to the experience in using debit card that 82% of the respondent from the general population are experienced user. Now we look at the analysis. If we look the profile of the respondent is different, maybe we can expect that the analysis also will say something different too. So we look at the attitude predictor. If previously effort expectancy and performance expectancy become the strongest determinant for people to use debit card, but not in this case. So effort expectancy and performance expectancy were not significant for the general population case. So we see that the most influential factor for general population to use debit card is trust, followed by social influence and facilitating condition. However, this is in an interest. We look another insignificant variable. We see that financial literacy in this case is also not significant. Uh, Maybe this is related to the heterogeneity issue in the financial literacy, as we know that the general population have heterogeneous characteristic regarding to the education level of education and also level of income, and we see that financial literacy is sensitive to those two characteristics. Okay, and then for determinant of behavioral intention and also trust, this is didn't cheaper compared to the package. So if we can summarize from those two group evidence, we can see that there are some different behavioral pattern and also the similar one. We look at the different behavioral pattern. So unlike the package funding, performance expectancy and effort expectancy are not significant for the general population. Why? This is because for experienced user that mostly of them educated and maybe relatively young user, using technology become a habit for them. Then they will pay less attention to the technology usefulness and ease of adoption. Although the important is different between the package and the general population case for trust. Trust is still a significant factor for attitude toward using debit card in both case. It means that the use debit card, maybe we can extend to another e-payment, is always accompanied by risk. So people will put greater attention to trust. And lastly, this is related to the insignificance of financial literacy in the general population case. It may be expected due to the potential heterogeneity issue in the financial literacy response. So if we would like to do further analysis, maybe we can use multi-group analysis. So this can capture the effect of financial literacy. Next, what remain consistent? We see that trust become the crucial element determining a positive attitude in both group. And actually, if we look at the sociology and psychology theory, the trust can be built by cognitive. It means the accumulation of knowledge and also affective aspects such as emotional aspect. So in this study, maybe we can say that perceived security may act as a type of cognitive distrust, while religious belief would reflect as affective distrust. Next, we would like to synthesize based on this finding what we can learn, and maybe we can propose a framework for the financial for digital payment technology. Okay, we see that since 2017 there are major shift of using debit card in Indonesia, and also in 2019 the Indonesian government launched the KRIS. However, despite this evolving technology, Behavioral foundations such as trust, security, and also financial literacy are expected remain important. Those studying debit card usage among PKH recipient could still provide valuable insight for the financial inclusion policy. Why? Because providing access to financial inclusion doesn't automatically create meaningful financial inclusion. That's why building trust and financial literacy will ensure its sustainability. So this is we propose conceptual framework based on those to study. So we can say that technology acceptance is not universal. The acceptance of digital payment, especially driven by various factors related to user experience. So we can see from the diagram, we can differentiate between the user with less experience and the experienced user. So for the less experienced user, the driver for attitude toward using the technology is driven by performance expectancy, effort expectancy, trust, facilitating condition, and financial literacy. However, for the experienced user, the driver for attitude are security, trust, and then social influence and facilitating condition. However, as I mentioned before, the insignificance of financial literacy uh, have to explore more uh, because it may be related to heterogeneity issue. Okay. However, trust built in on security and cultural factor is the fundamental mechanism that shape positive attitude and encourage continuous, which ultimately will sustain the financial inclusion. So we move to the final part based on our study. According to the two cases, big age recipient and also general population, we propose several policy recommendations as well as direction for future study. First, we look at the what is it? This is policy implication. Banks should segment their loyalty strategy. For experienced consumer, bank could offer incentive and more advanced services that could enhance their flexibility. However, in contrast, new user require education on the product benefit, security, and also try to simplify the operation to build the confidence of the new user. And for the banking industry and also the authorities, they have to maintain customer trust by strengthening the security system and also supporting further development Sharia banking. For example, this is for Indonesia to meet user need. And lastly, government, maybe authorities should prioritize the digital financial literacy education. Why? Education could empower consumer to maximize the product benefit while also effectively mitigate the security issue. So actually in Indonesia, this already has several financial literacy education program run by maybe Central Bank of Indonesia and also OJK and also the scholars. However, it is not the regular program. So we need maybe regular program in small cases, so we can measure the outcome clearly from the uh, program. Okay, next, this is the recommendation for future study. For future study, should extend the study by exploring other e-payment method, which is would be available for Indonesia, maybe for QRIS, and maybe for other digital payment. And this research actually could not capture the intention use behavior, the relationships, because this is a cross-section study. So for future research, researchers should use longitudinal data in order to gain a deeper understanding about this relationship. And lastly, researchers should consider the new financial literacy measurement. Actually, we use the traditional financial literacy measurement in this study. So the researcher can use the new financial literacy measurement by using digital financial literacy when assessing the acceptance of financial services technology. Maybe that's all, Mbak Dika, that I can present. Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Umi, for the insightful presentation. So I think we'll now open the floor. So if you have your questions, you can type it in the Zoom. So I think maybe while waiting for the questions, Mbak Umi, so on those factors that you tested, anything in particular that surprised you the most?
Yes. For the biggest case, the social influence, Mbak Dika, because if we see people in the low income group, we see that it's usually the social influence very greater for those group. But in this case, this is not happen. Uh, that's why maybe because we conduct this study, we collect data just a year before, a year after the non-cash social assistance program. So maybe those social influence didn't, yes, still limited. And
Did-
also for the general population, this
Mhm.
is the financial literacy. Because if we directly adopt or translate the funding from general population, the financial literacy didn't have any significant impact on attitude toward using financial uh, on digital payment. So maybe we can say that we don't need to improve the financial literacy, but the problem is not that. It may be because the heterogeneity issue. Maybe that's Dika.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question on that, but I think before that, let's just there's a question from Pat Terry Hao. He's asking, have there been any cases of account hacking? What were the consequences? Have you had any thoughts on that in your research?
Okay. Okay, actually, we didn't ask about those kind of matter to the respondent, but because we have a survey, we only ask about whether the security become their concern, etc. And we maybe capture that security become also the main issue for them to trust for any digital payment. So I think yes, sometimes maybe people are already aware that some hack thing, but Tika. This is similar to the case for ATM skimming case that Indonesia in the top three location for that thing.
And also, like I think you mentioned that you conducted the study right when it was just initially launched. So that really
Yes,
affected the first question that I asked, the social influence
yes.
on the PKH. Yeah. Do you think that things will change if you carried on the surveys a couple of years after this debit payment was launched?
Yes, I think so, Mbak Tika. I think for maybe after 5 years later after the program launch, maybe yes, the social influence is predicted to become the what is significant determinant also for the people to access the digital payment. So yes, actually this is still open opportunity to uh, take the following study related to this issue, Mbak Tika.
Um, Any other questions? Yeah, I'm just waiting for the questions from the floor. I think if not, then another follow-up questions. I know that you attempted to think about the general population outside of East Java, but even then, I think there's a constraint because the survey that you conducted was it online?
Yes.
So it's more like the sort of like internet population. So probably the characteristics are different. But I think my um, follow-up question will be how far do you think these results will travel to other provinces? So think about it as non-Java provinces, like the banking networks, probably not as developed as is Java. Do you have any thoughts around that? Like what would expect in that kind of different circumstances?
Yes, Mbak Dika. Uh, Based on our finding for the PKH case and also for the general population, we see that facilitating condition has positive and significant impact toward people to use debit card. So I mean, yes, facilitating condition become matters in not only in East Java but also in other area in Indonesia. So yes, this has become the concerns.
Can you expand more on facilitating conditions? What is it that you captured in your survey? What are those?
Yes, yes. We asked them whether for them easy to access, for example, the ATM, because we use only debit card, Mbak Dika, so we only ask about the ATM. And then for the biggest case, we also ask whether they have someone who help them when accessing the debit card. Because as we know, the package recipient characteristic is uh, they have low, what is it, education level, and maybe this is the first time they access using digital payment. So yes, they need a person who can help them to what is it to use the debit card like those, Mbak Dika. So we didn't say about the internet because yes, we mainly focus on a debit card. But if the study we extend to the current condition, I mean, for the more general digital payment landscape, the question for the facilitating condition should be uh, incorporating about the issue relating to the, what is it, the internet infrastructure, because when using mobile and Chris, yes, we need those internet access.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for more questions. I'm just like trying to link this with Mas Firman is here. I don't know whether you have thoughts on agent banking. Like back in 2018, what was the landscape for agent banking? So typically when PKH recipients received the transfer to their debit card, was ATM the only channel for them to withdraw, or back then there were already, a lot of merchants, they have this service whereby they can withdraw from that sort of like agent banking. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or Mas Firman, if you want to add something on that?
Oh yeah, Mbak Dika, I'm sorry, I forgot. So for the facilitating condition, I'm sorry, Mas Firman. uh, for the facilitating condition, we also ask about the EDC, but yes, not only ATM but EDC, because this is also the infrastructure for the debit card. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to add to this, but I think those years, well, agent banking was first introduced not to distribute bansos, and they were actually introduced and recruited by the banks as to do the outreach of their banking without opening a new branch, right? Which means it's cost effective, and it's actually improved uh, it's hoped to improve the bank's bottom line, but during the launch of the digitizing of the bansos, I think a lot of agents were recruited specifically for to distribute bansos, which not the actual goals. So it's kind of conflict the goals of the agent banking and the banks, and this also introduced, I think, to the public where not only new technology but new type of services that people are not very much not familiar with. There's a lot of issues with trust then. So I don't know how much this connect with your findings. Yeah, but there's a lot of yeah, that is unknown at that time when it was first introduced.
You want to comment on that, or Baumi?
Yes, actually, for the PKH case, yes, yeah, as I said before, there's also agent,
Mm-hmm.
bank agent in several district, and this is also actually this is also facilitate the PKH recipient to whatever disperse their benefit from the program, and that's why the agent is not only as bank partner, but also what is it, the government partner, because they also provide the what is it uh, provide the package recipient about how they disperse and etc. But the issue rise, but I didn't have many information of this issue, but sometimes the bank agent make the what is it the similar pin, and this is become an issue again. So the agent in the sub district or help the PKH, but sometimes yeah, to make it easy for them, they use the similar pin. That's why we asked that to uh, what is it to uh, propose the education for those, especially the package recipient, about the security issue.
Hmm.
So the pain is this is privacy, and but yeah, because they maybe first time they didn't know how to use it, you just follow what the agency maybe that's all that. But I hope the later years this pattern is differ, because when they already know the negative side of what's it shares the spin information, maybe yes.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah. Okay, sorry.
yes,
Yeah,
okay,
if
Mbak
I
Fernand.
can add some anecdotes. So I remember during this time, so the facilitator
Yes,
would collect all these cards
yeah.
from recipients,
Oh,
and they go to the bank agent or go to the bank, and they collect all the money for a fee, which is fine by the household because they don't want to spend time going to the bank. And so that's why everyone
yes,
has the same pin.
Hmm.
They
yes,
bring back the card, distribute the money, and that guy get the commission.
yes,
This is PKH.
yeah,
I did it, some parts day.
yes,
That's
yes, yes, Pak Firman. I
the
also ever read the information like this.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. And we have two questions, also equally interesting on the religious beliefs. So I think I'll start with the question from Pak Ros. Can you explain about why religious beliefs are influential here? The debit card is just electronic cash. There's no interest payment involved. And there's another follow-up question from Heath, but I think let's just start with Pak Ros.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Dika. Yes, previously when we model this study, we didn't use religious belief, but later on we see that in Indonesia, some what is it issue related to the what is it banking product, such as the interest that some what is it? Muslim scholar say to prohibit those, but in this that's why we incorporate the religious belief in this issue. But for the PKH case, I think they didn't have actually maybe they didn't have any issue related to those because they didn't have any option. And in Muslim view, in the what is it we call this is darura, or this is we when we have no option, so we still can use those, although sometimes maybe this is not in line with their belief like this. So that's why for policy implication, we ask to uh, the financial authorities that to still expand this Sharia banking like this.
What are the indicators that you captured in your survey to measure
Okay.
the religious
Uh,
aspects?
yes. For example, we asked whether using debit card is in line with their belief like this, Mbak Tika. And then yes, because for PKH case, we say that this is the debit card is for mode of payments, not for another purpose. So yes, maybe that's all. That's so they don't violate the belief.
Are
But
you? Go
if
ahead.
we scrutinize detail, maybe if we follow up with the what is it the interview session, maybe we will have rich information with the yes how the perception of the people regarding about the religious belief, because the pattern in the banking sector in Indonesia today, yes, the Syariah market share still lower compared to the conventional bank. So maybe yes, uh, religious belief will affect on the user acceptance on the digital payment. However, the trust on the product and the services, this is outweigh to the religious belief. Maybe that's better. Thank you.
Even until now, are you aware whether there are more like options for the banks involved, the Himbara banks involved in the PKH disbursement, or is still like the same? So there's no Sharia option.
Okay. We have information after we collected the data, Mbak Dika and the participant, that for Aceh province, only for Aceh province, yes, we provide Bank Syariah Indonesia to disburse the benefit of the package, but not for the other. Yes, because we know that Aceh province has yes very specific and yes for the Muslim views.
Yeah. And then we have another question from Heath Michael. Are religious leaders in East Java broadly supportive of PKH and digital financing? Are alim ulama in some parts of East Java more supportive than others?
Oh, okay. Actually, we didn't have any information regarding this issue, Mbak Tika. However, if we look at this is only based on my opinion, not based on the data, maybe. Based on my opinion, if you look at, we observe the information from the television and other, I think ulama still support because we can see that I have a friend who have the pesantren pondok, and then they still use what is it conventional bank. So maybe as long as the what is it the objective of the objective not for negative thing, maybe yes, still support with us. But I have no information in detail about it, Mbak Dika.
Thank you, Mbak Umi. And then we have a follow-up question from Pak Ross about he doesn't know anything of anything in Sharia that would suggest that electronic cash is haram, assuming there's no interest involved. And Muslims use paper cash, which comes from a non-Sharia bank, namely Bank Indonesia. So why not use electronic cash, which comes from the government, not the bank?
Electronic cash for the package case, is it yes?
I suppose yes, yeah.
For government cash. I'm sorry, Mbak Dika. Can you repeat? Okay, or this is in the chat.
Yeah, it's in Q&A chat box. I think the question may involve around why people may have some resistance around this debit payment, knowing that they're not using it um, to save, to accumulate something that will result in interest
Yeah.
rate. Which part of it you think will create resistance, given like on paper, if it shouldn't really create interest, then it's not haram.
Okay, maybe yes, maybe it could be become the another reason for the package recipient to what is it to withdraw their money and using cash. Maybe it could be maybe because those problem because when they feel that connecting with the banking things is haram, that's why I will withdraw all the money in cash, and then they didn't make any what is it any connection with bank after that maybe. But uh, I think we have to scrutinize detail whether the condition is happen or so uh, they're resistant to use debit card or maybe digital payment. It could be due to religious belief or due to they didn't know about the what is it the benefit of the services. So we have to scrutinize detail because based on the so far maybe we just analyze based on the what is it the response, but we have to look further, Mbak Dika, with the resistance based on religious belief or based on the education uh, information level of the recipient.
So in maybe you can share a bit like in your conceptual framework at the beginning, what was like the rationale, what triggered you and the team to add that religious belief? What was there any particular literature or particular moment or during that time that you thought that it will be like very, very important for you to incorporate that religious belief as part of your conceptual modeling?
Yes, Mbak Tika. We incorporate the religious belief actually based on several study, not only conducted in Indonesia, but also from another country such as what is it? I forgot it. Pakistan and other countries. And they mention they put information that religious belief is also related to the use of not debit card, credit card. At that time, we look at the study, but this is many economic transaction. So as I remember, there was study that say that people tend to buy in the store that they know that the owner is in the similar. It's like this now. That so religious belief become issue in this case.
Can you explain a bit more when you mentioned that behavioral intention? Does it cover all range of financial transactions?
Uh,
because in your model, you have a lot
Mhm.
of factors, and then that will affect the attitudes towards using,
Okay.
and
Maybe
then you're trying to predict to that behavioral intention.
okay.
So what
Maybe
aspects of behavioral intention that you cover?
whether they would like to, for the PKS case, whether they like to use the debit card after they graduate the program. Yes. So this is more like continued intention to use debit card after they finish. Yes. That's
Did you
why
did you
we
ask a
cannot.
specific use?
No.
Also
Oh,
just
yes, yes,
the
yes, yes. Yes, we have several questions such as for transaction, for paying a bill and
mm,
saving. Yes, we ask this. But because this is a limitation, we have to acknowledge that actually for youth-out model, uh, what is it? The intention will lead to the actual use, and we didn't check this actual use. So actually, this is yes, we have to check the actual use. That's why we say this is some limitation. So if we can make it for longitudinal study, so after intention, maybe
intention only.
couple
Yeah.
yes, a
Mhm.
couple months we come and we ask about the what is it how many times they use the debit card for transaction and so on. Yes, this is the limitation
Mm,
of
mhm,
study.
mhm. Yeah. All right. Are there more questions from the audience? I think if not, yeah, I'm going to, oh wait, let me see. Let me just check one more time. Oh, okay. There is another follow-up question from Pat Ross. I don't know whether
Yes.
you can see the question. Uh, to what extent maybe what is required is not only improvement of financial literacy, but also religious literacy.
Yes, I think that's
Maybe religious leaders could be asked to
yes,
help
yes, I
explain
think
this. What do you think about that?
yes. Thank you, Pak Ros, about your concerning related to the what is it, education on yes, I think uh, the education I never expect this, but yes, this true because in Indonesia actually related to the religious belief or Muslim, we say we have to put as moderation, I mean, not the radical one. So yes, education related to religious, what is this view perspective on this case, maybe yes, have to spread to the uh, people in Indonesia, not only financial literacy education, but also what is it, religious education related to this case.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the questions, Pak Ros, and also for others. And then thank you again to Dr. Umi Julaiha for sharing your work. And thanks for everyone who joined us online today. So let's just give Maumi a round of virtual applause. So thank you so much,
Okay.
Maumi, for
Thank you.
accepting our invitation and also spending time with us.
Thank you very much for the insightful discussion.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Mbak Dika and me, can you please remain in the
Okay.
room
Yes. Yeah.
for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, Mbak.
Mhm.
Okay. This is about to. Okay. So can we pose, please? Just smile or something? Okay. Um, okay. Wait. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to screenshot another one. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, good. Thank you so much. I'm going to end this live Zoom now.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.